We're on the road with Mickey, we're gonna have some fun. Regardless of the rain or sun, our trip has just begun. So buckle up, let's go, we're about to start the show. And maybe if you like us, you'll see where else we'll go.
Hey everyone, I'm Mike, and she's Sophie,
And he's Grogu.
and we're back after a 1 week hiatus. Brenda will be rejoining us, yay!
Yay,
Next
finally!
Wednesday on our next episode, which we'll get into a little bit more in more detail later on. But this is episode 145 for November 14th, 2022, and we're on the road with Mickey. And our feature topic today is Genie Plus, individual lightning lanes, and more. The more is basically talking about the ways you can enter the parks, as far as what tech and what stuff you can use to enter the parks. Um, but first, before we get going on that, we are going to cover a couple little cheddar from the big cheese things that we think you should know about. So, Sophie, you start us off.
All right, then. Well, starting with our cheddar from the big cheese, the new Disney Plus series, Zootopia Plus, premiered on the streaming channel last Wednesday, November 9th. Did you watch it? If so, what do you think? Also, what do you think of Andor? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, Grogu wants to know what people think about Andor. And I want to know what you think about Andor. Sophie, what do you think about Andor?
I think it is a very awesome show. What I've watched of it, it has a it's hard to it's hard to describe. It's sort of more a cloak and dagger show as opposed to pure action-packed fun,
Hmm.
and it gives you such an amazing perspective because I'm pretty sure everyone in the Star Wars universe just immediately thought, "Oh, the rebellion has been around as long as the empire's been around." But that's really not the case. It shows the forming of the rebellion as well as Cassian Andor's character development, and it shows the rebellion was not formed in a day. And
That's
it's
true.
just really, really cool because everyone always thinks it was formed in a day. It was not.
Yeah. All right. I
Yeah.
like it too. We've seen 9 of the 12 episodes for this series. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I think we probably have one more to watch tonight, um,
Yep.
if we're able to. So, but anyway, um, back in the parks, if you are one of those that loves the PhotoPass photos that you can get with Memory Maker, whether you buy Memory Maker or buy the photos separately, Disney is adding new holiday magic shots for the photos at the Magic Kingdom. And so, for example, one picture I saw online was Tinkerbell in like you holding your hand out and Tinkerbell is in your hand, and she's got on her elf costume, her little red and holiday suit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's those things like that, a scene where it looks like it's snowing on you and stuff like that. So, but those are available at the Magic Kingdom, and they are available through January 7th, 2023. And your PhotoPass photographer will take care of capturing those shots for you. Um, so not a whole lot of cheddar this week, but it is some, and that's all we've got for that. So we are going to move on to our feature topic, and our topic this week is Genie Plus, individual lightning lanes, and more. And the reason we're talking about it now, because Genie Plus has been around for a while, so has individual lightning lanes, is that as a travel agent, I keep getting a lot of questions about it, and um, specifically about, should I get it? Should I not get it? Is it worth it? Is the cost a lot? What should I do? Should I just do the free genie? On and on and on. So we thought we would hopefully break up some of the confusion a little bit
Yep.
and give you some background. So let me start um, a little bit by talking about Genie Plus. Um, One of the things that you used to be able to do, you can't do anymore, but you used to be able to purchase Genie Plus for every day of your trip um, in advance. And Disney took that out. And I actually think, thinking back about it, I didn't like it when they did it because it felt like one less thing that a travel agent could do to help their clients. But I thinking back on it now, I kind of like that they did this because if you're a family and you buy Genie Plus for your whole trip, um, you might after the first day say, "Gosh, why did I spend that money? I don't need to spend that money because we didn't get any value out of it." And now you're stuck with it. So instead, what you're able to do is you're able to buy Genie Plus the day that you have a park reservation for. You're able to buy it that morning starting at 7 a.m. and you're able to start using it right then. And you buy it each day. So you decide, okay, I want it this day because I'm going to the Magic Kingdom. I don't want it this day because I'm at Animal Kingdom. You
Yeah.
decide when you want it and when you don't. Um, and that I think make makes it easier as far as deciding. You don't have to have it all at once. Um, and it also gives you some more control over which parks you might want it for. With the Magic Kingdom, it kind of makes sense to have it for the Magic Kingdom because you
Hmm.
have a lot more attractions that you might be able to get Genie Plus um, attractions for. So that it makes sense that you might get more value for it for what you're spending, and the cost varies, but so I don't have any cost details, but it's price per person. So you decide who needs it in your party and you buy it for those people. And you do it right through the My Disney Experience app.
Hmm.
Um, I have clients that are there right now that used it at Epcot and really, really enjoyed having that option at Epcot. That I didn't think it was going to be as good to have it at Epcot. So I was telling them, I was thinking don't bother, but they said that they bought it and they got a lot of value out of it. So that's good. And I think how much value you get out of it is dependent on how much time you spend, looking for and getting those attractions that you want to use it with. So
Yeah.
so I think your mileage could vary. I think for us it wasn't as good a value because I don't think we spent as much time digging into all the different ones we could use with it. So we
Hmm.
we kind of took it a little more slowly, I think.
Yeah.
So
But that's us. I
yeah,
mean,
to each their own. So however you do the parks, that's what makes it worth it or not worth it, as
yeah.
the case may be. So
Hmm.
um So with Genie Plus, you purchase it and then you start making your selections. So
Yeah.
let's say in your typical day, Sophie, you are at the Magic Kingdom
Hmm.
and you want to ride, um,
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
okay, you want to ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Well, with Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, that is not part of Genie Plus.
Hmm.
So you can't use Genie Plus to do a Seven Dwarfs Mine Train reservation. You would have to purchase that
Okay.
separately through
I
individual
see.
Lightning Lane.
All right,
Um,
then what
and we'll
about
get into that in a little bit.
yeah,
Um,
okay. What about Splash Mountain?
Splash Mountain. Okay, so you look at the app and you say, okay, I purchased Genie Plus and I want to do Splash Mountain, and it'll tell you what time you can reserve for Splash Mountain. And let's say it's 11:30 a.m. So 11:30 a.m. you make your reservation, okay?
Hmm.
And what'll happen is when you get to 11:30 a.m., you go to Splash Mountain and you enter the individual Lightning Lane access area, which is the same as if you purchased it. um, and you'll tap your magic band or whatever device you're using to get into the attraction, and it will acknowledge that you're there and that you're using it. Um, and you can, as soon as you activate your Genie Plus selection, you can make another one. So you then would say, okay, and next I want to do Pirates of the Caribbean. So you schedule your Pirates of the Caribbean, and it tells you what time you have available. Um, if you make your first reservation at 7 a.m., um, you and let's say your first one is Splash Mountain at 11:30. At 9 a.m., you can make another one, um, even if you haven't used that first one, because it knows that your
Oh,
time is later on. So, so that's helpful. And so that at
okay.
9 a.m. it might let you make one for, say, Peter Pan at 2 o'clock. You know,
Hmm.
so so that way you don't necessarily have to wait until that first one is done before you make your second one, depending on what time it is.
Hmm.
So so that's a big thing, and I think there was some confusion on that. And I know it's a new system, even though it's been around for a little bit. It's still new, and there's still a lot of things that I think a lot of people don't understand. And that's my understanding of it, is that you are able to do that down the road as well. So
Hmm.
I think that might have been part of our problem with it um, when we did it in June. But anyway,
Yeah.
so so you've been making Genie Plus selections, but you're right, Sophie. You want to
Yeah.
ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and you can't do Seven Dwarfs Mine Train on Genie Plus. You can only use what's called individual lightning lanes, and so um, the individual lightning lane is basically purchasing front of the line access for a specific attraction at a certain time. With with individual lightning lanes, there's right now there's one attraction at each park. And Sophie, why don't you go through that list of the attractions at each park?
All right, then. All right. Well, in terms of the lightning lane, so as we decided when we were talking about the Magic Kingdom, for the Magic Kingdom, the ride that does not apply to Genie Plus is the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And then for Epcot, that would be the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. In Animal Kingdom, that is Avatar Flight of Passage, and in Hollywood Studios, that is Rise of the Resistance. So those four rides across all four parks are ones that you can't get with Genie Plus. You have to buy them individually.
Right. And so two things.
Hmm.
One, if you don't want to buy individual lightning lane access for Seven Dwarfs or Avatar or Rise of the Resistance, you can still ride those by just waiting in the standby line. So
Hmm.
so that is an important thing to remember. You don't have to buy individual lightning lane. Um, you can buy individual lightning lane and not buy Genie Plus. So you don't have to buy both if you want to use it. You can do one or the other, or you can do neither.
Hmm.
Um, with Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, it does not have a standby line, it has a virtual queue. So if you are at Epcot for that day, you would want to try and do virtual queue first. And then you don't need to buy individual lightning lane if you can get in a virtual queue.
Hmm.
Or you might do the virtual queue and like it so much that you buy individual lightning lane as well. That's what Brenda did. She got the virtual queue and she loved the ride so much. They also did individual lightning lane for it, and so they
Hmm.
wrote it twice. Um, one other thing about individual lightning lanes is the price varies. It's per person. When Sophie and I did individual lightning lane back in June when we did Rise of the Resistance,
Hmm.
and we paid, I want to say, $15 or $16 a person for that individual lightning lane, which to be able to skip by the standby line, I felt was worth it.
Yeah.
Um, So we did it, and our time was at like 6:45 p.m. It was later in the afternoon, but we
Mm.
still were able to enjoy Rise of the Resistance um, together with little wait, other than just doing other things in the park. So it worked out for us.
Yeah.
Um, the prices vary depending on the time of year, how busy it is, how many people want it, and so forth. So that price isn't always guaranteed. The other thing is, um, for individual Lightning Lane, you're only allowed to buy it once per park. So, or per that day. So if you're at Magic Kingdom on a day and you purchase it for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, um, you cannot ride it and then purchase it again for that same one. So
Yeah.
it doesn't let you stack them up and buy like four times. You can only do it once. So otherwise you have to wait in line to do it.
Hmm.
So, but that's a quick synopsis of how the individual lightning lanes work.
Yeah.
So the one thing that's different with Genie Plus to individual lightning lane is with Genie Plus, when you select an attraction to do, you are given that time. But with individual lightning lanes, you may have, depending on how busy it is, you may have multiple options to choose from for a time that you want to return.
Hmm.
So that is one difference um, for the individual lightning lanes versus Genie Plus. So, but of course, if you can get your swinging back just a moment to Genie Plus, if you can
Yeah.
get 4 or 5 different attractions through Genie Plus, then that makes it almost worth it in my opinion. You know, we didn't get anywhere near that for us. We got maybe one or two, if that. So that's why we felt like it wasn't a good value for us. But if you can get those, then more power to you, and good job, good use of Genie Plus. You know.
Yeah, because
So.
we have some friends that are currently at Disney right now. They go to our church with us, and they were talking about how they had Genie Plus and they were using it at the Magic Kingdom, and they said it worked wonderfully for them.
Actually, they used it at Epcot, which
Oh,
surprised me.
oh,
Yeah, and it worked really well for them. They said that they were able to get several attractions and they just skipped right by. In fact, one attraction that they had a Genie Plus for, Sophie, was Test Track,
really?
and they had that reservation, but for whatever reason, um, at the time they were ready to do it, their time, it wasn't available. Um, whether it was because of weather or rain or whatever, I don't know. But for whatever reason, Test Track was not available during their Genie
Hmm.
Plus time. And Disney, because it wasn't available, Disney gave them the option to choose another attraction through the next day that they could
Oh,
use instead of that Test Track. So they're able to use it for even at a different park. They're able to use it for a different park and do it for that reservation instead of the Test Track one. So that was kind of cool too that they were able to get that um, because of the ride being shut down. So there are some bonuses to that, you know. Um, but anyway, so that's kind of neat. That is the quick rundown that I have. And Sophie, I don't know if you have any questions or anything you want to
mm,
add.
no, not really. I was just mainly listening to you because you do know more about this than I do.
Thanks. I'm not sure if I'm an expert by any stretch. That is for certain.
Well,
But
yeah.
um but yeah, I mean it, it is what it is. And I think in the end, whether or not you choose to purchase individual Lightning Lane access or Genie Plus access also in some ways depends on how often you're able to go to Disney, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, Genie Plus and Individual Lightning Lane is also available at Disneyland. Um, and the price I think is a little bit higher for them at Disneyland than it is at Disney World. Um, but same process works both sides. Um,
Okay.
so anyway, I think for us for our upcoming December trip, okay, because
Yeah.
that's coming up, Sophie. That
Yeah.
is like 2.5 weeks away.
The time is flying.
Yeah. So we are doing the Christmas party, of course. And
Mm-hmm.
during the Christmas party, there won't be any Genie Plus or individual Lightning Lane access. Um,
Yeah.
so that's not even a factor for us. That's December 2nd when we're at Magic Kingdom. December 3rd, though, we are going to be at Epcot, and it is a guarantee that we are going to do, or at least as close to guarantee as you can get, that we are going to do Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
We are going to try and do both virtual queue as well as maybe even purchasing individual Lightning Lane so we can ride it twice.
Aunt
That
Robin's gonna be
that's
so excited.
Yeah. I just think it's something we've got to really make a big effort to try and do.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
um it is what it is, but that's just something I think we need to do. So,
Hmm.
of course, Aunt Robin, your Aunt Robin is a huge Marvel fan, so this would
Hmm.
be she would be so excited to do this. Um, and as far as us, we love a good roller coaster, so we've got to try it. We didn't get the chance to do it in June, so we're gonna correct that in December.
Yeah.
So, so that is I don't know if we'll do Genie Plus or not that day. I wasn't planning on it, but based on what our friends said, it might be worth considering doing it.
Hmm. Yeah.
So we'll play around with that in our heads and talk it over outside of the podcast and see what we think. But but anyway, now the more part. So remember, it's Genie Plus, individual lightning lanes, and more. So
Hmm.
you know, I get another question I get a lot of is what should what should I do? Should I buy magic bands? Will my magic bands that I already have still work? Um, should I use my phone? What should I do for my vacation? That's a question I get a lot. I have several clients, and it's all individual based on what you and your family want to do. You know, there's a lot of options, and um, it's all part of a system called My Magic Plus or something like that Disney introduced. Okay, and they introduced it several years back with the introduction of Magic Bands. Okay, so I thought we would go through the different options and kind of talk about it a little bit. So um, I'm going to start with Magic Bands because that is the original thing that really kicked off this whole system. So with Magic Bands, um, you can use your Magic Band for entering your room
Hmm.
as your door lock to unlock your door, for entering the parks, for charging a purchase back to your room, for accessing your photos, your ride photos, and also photo pass photos,
Yeah.
um, and for redeeming a lightning lane ride reservation, either through Genie Plus or through individual Lightning Lane, um, and for gaining access to the virtual queue, which in this case is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what your Magic Band can do. Um, One of the things I heard a lot, and I didn't really realize this until I was researching it, is that in a Magic Band, and we're talking about the original Magic Bands, not the new Magic Band Plus. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Um, with the Magic Bands, one of the things I always heard a lot was, my ride photos didn't get up to my account. And it turns out that there's two parts of the system for Magic Band. Okay. There is a long range RFID system that's
Mm-hmm.
built into the Magic Band, and that is what captured your ride photos. And the long range system requires a battery that wears out over time. Okay. There's also the short range RFID for things like tapping in to get into the parks and entering your door and your room and so forth. The short range does not require a battery. So if
Mm.
the battery on your original Magic Band has failed, has died out after a couple of years, it is when it'll stop working. Then the trip photos, the photos for on the rides, the attraction photos will not upload because that battery has worn out.
Mm.
So that's why you don't always see them in your account. But everything else that depends on the short range RFID access, which doesn't require a battery, will still work. So
Okay.
so that to me is a big distinction that I wasn't aware of. Um, I didn't know that about that. And um, so now that I know that, if someone says my ride photos didn't get uploaded, now we kind of understand why. We can ask them, was is it your original Magic Band or what? Find out, kind of troubleshoot a little bit more. Um, so so that's a big deal. Um, in addition to Magic Bands, you can also go to the front desk of your resort and you can get a key to the world card. And the key to the world card is a free alternative for you to
Mm-hmm.
using a Magic Band or using your phone. So, and just like a Magic Band, the key to the world card will unlock your hotel room door. It'll give you access to the theme parks with your admission and reservation. It'll connect your Disney Photo Pass images to your account. It will gain access to virtual queues, redeem Lightning Lane, and charge to your resort hotel. It will not work. My understanding is it will not work for ride photos that you that they upload automatically while you're on the ride, like Seven Dwarfs with the video and so forth. That will not work, but
Hmm.
but everything else it will work. And I could be wrong on that, so if I am, please
Okay.
correct me. So, um, but it's basically a free sort of keepsake even to that trip. And I think when we go in December, I think I'm going to get Key to the World cards for us all. Even though we all have Magic Bands that we're going to be using, I think it would be a neat little keepsake for us to have as well.
Yeah.
You know, and
Mm-hmm.
and so and they have neat designs. It's basically Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, and I think Pluto, or maybe Goofy and Pluto and not Daisy. I don't remember exactly, but I think Daisy's in there. So I'll see if I can
Yeah.
get Daisy for mommy. But
Good idea. I think she would like that.
yeah. So Magic Bands, original Magic Bands and Key to the World cards are almost identical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, Sophie, why don't you talk about
Magic
the new
Band
Magic Band
Plus.
Plus? Yeah.
Yeah. All right then. Well, Magic Band Plus, that is something that me, my dad, and my mom are actually going to be trying out for our December trip. And we
Okay.
already have our Magic Bands. And the biggest difference that I can see between the old Magic Bands and these new Magic Band Plus Magic Bands, say that 5 times fast,
Yeah.
is, well, firstly, they look a lot cooler, and that's because they have a bunch of customizable, like, skins that you can put on the Magic Bands. And more importantly, they're chargeable.
Hmm.
They're chargeable, which means that they are some of the long range RFID systems, yeah. And the battery, even if it's run down, it charges, like I'm saying, and it includes all of the special effects. And there are even some mini games. You can interact with the shows with them and so forth. It's it's really, really cool, but that's really all I have to say about it.
Yeah. So, um, like Sophie was saying, the special features, the special effects, and things like that are part of the chargeable side. So if your Magic Band Plus battery runs down, it's got a cable that plugs into a USB port that'll charge it back up.
Hmm.
So they're rechargeable. That's the good thing. Um,
Yes.
if that battery is run down, then those special features won't work. But the legacy stuff to Magic Band, unlocking your room, getting into the parks, and so forth, will still work.
Hmm.
So that part, and something I read, they said it's almost worth thinking about it as two devices in one. The legacy part, which is just the regular Magic Band, and then this extra features. And I'm really excited to see how that really interacts. We'll be at the Christmas party. We'll be able to try them out with some of the statues.
Hmm.
The 50th anniversary statues, and supposedly it'll interact and talk with you and all sorts of stuff like that. Um, it's supposed to light up in different ways with the fireworks, like you were saying. So that'll be neat to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's all that for us is brand new because we've
Hmm.
never experienced that. So I'm excited to see what it's like, and hopefully, I'll remember. Don't let me forget, Sophie, and maybe we'll video some of that interaction. You know,
I
and
won't
maybe
let you forget, I promise.
okay. Um, so that's kind of neat. Um, and then the last thing for navigating in the parks is called Magic Mobile. And Magic
Hmm.
Mobile uses your phone, okay,
Yeah.
to whether it's Android or iPhone or even your Apple Watch, okay, it allows you to to work in conjunction with your My Disney Experience app to provide many of the same features you get with the Magic Bands and the Key to the World cards. So
Hmm.
one difference that doesn't work with Magic Mobile right now is you can't use Magic Mobile for your room key. But to me, that's kind of irrelevant because there's another part of the My Disney Experience app that does allow you to unlock your room door right when you're right by the door from your app. So it's not like it doesn't matter, like you can't get in.
Well,
So
yeah. But at the same time, I just think it's more convenient to have your key on your wrist and just go chick.
right, right.
Yeah.
I agree. And it's sometimes, most of the time it works pretty well to use the app and whatnot,
Hmm.
but sometimes it doesn't. Um, One of the things that I did hear about was whether or not it runs down your battery. And from what I understand, you can set up Magic Mobile on your phone or on your watch so that um, you don't have to have activate it on your phone or whatever. It's already activated, and so even if your phone's asleep, that part of it would still work
Hmm.
even without having to open up and unlock your phone or whatever. So that's something that's kind of neat. So they say that that's more of a myth than truth, that it would run down your battery. That it
Nice.
doesn't mean you're going to be any more in your phone than you would normally be. So that's good to know. But as far as me, Magic Mobile isn't really. I tried it once with Park Ticket on my watch, and it worked, and it was neat. But it's not something that I gotta have.
Yeah.
It's so to me, I'm like you, Sophie. I like the Magic Band and using the Magic Band to get
Yep.
access to what we need to do.
Mhm.
Um, and now with Magic Band Plus, I'm really excited to see how that enhances our experience. So
Yeah. And for those of you who are wondering, we each got custom skins for our Magic Band Pluses so that we could tell them apart. Mine is Grogu, courtesy of Billy's Closet of Magic.
yeah,
Daddy's is the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World, and my mom's is the Orange Bird.
yep, she got the orange bird. Mine is the partner statue also of the
Mhm.
50th anniversary. So Walt and Mickey are both right there. So it is kind of neat, and and they're neat looking, and they have, when we were looking, Sophie got hers before we did. Um, we got it through Billy's Closet of Magic, like she said. They bought them at the store
Mhm.
in Disney Springs, is where they got it, and then we just paid them back for it. Um, so that was a good way to get it. So Cindy and I got ours through the app on our in our My Disney Experience account, and so we got a small discount, but there weren't as many selections at the time when we bought them. But then recently we got them. I helped one of my clients purchase theirs, and they had a lot more selections than they did before, and including some really neat ones. So so always check it if you're thinking about getting them, and if you've got a reservation, you can get them for a slight discount in your My Disney Experience account. So check them out and see. And but there's also some in like Shop Disney that are exclusive that you can't get through the app. So there's that as well. So it's kind of interesting how they market some of them to be in the parks or for sale in the parks, and some only for like in the store. So, but anyway, that is our discussion on the different ways of getting into the parks, getting back to your room, and so forth. And I just want to make sure if anyone has any questions to let us know in the app or on the comments, or send us a, a question in the On the Road with Mickey group in Facebook, or shoot us an email, info@ontheroadwithmickey.com, and we'll be happy to help, or leave us a comment in our YouTube channel. So there's a lot of different ways to reach out to us. So let us know what you think and what questions you have.
All right.
All right. So
Well,
that is our feature topic, and it is time for this day in Disney history. So Sophie, take it away.
all right. Well, I'm very happy about this day in Disney history. And the reason for that is because this has to do with one of my favorite movies from Disney, if not my favorite movie, my number one favorite movie. And this is all the way back in 1940. It is the morning after the gala premiere of Fantasia in New York City.
Nice.
Bosley Crowther of the New York Times reports, "Motion picture history was made at the Broadway Theater last night. For the vital report this morning is that Mr. Disney and his troupe of little men, together with Leopold Stokowski and the Philadelphia Orchestra and a corps of sound engineers, have fashioned with music and colors and animated figures on a screen a creation so thoroughly delightful and exciting in its novelty that one's senses are captivated by it, one's imagination is deliciously inspired.
Nice.
Mhm. I love
Nice.
I love Fantasia. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Yeah, I know
Mhm.
you do, honey. So great history. Good stuff. So thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
All right. Well, it is time. It is time for Mike's eternal hope to stump the Soph.
Oh, should I give him the hope this week? We'll see.
Don't give him a hope. Answer if you can. So I have a few clues.
Mm-hmm.
This character is calculating. Thinking
Calculating
about it
these.
from a personality standpoint.
From a personality standpoint, they are calculating. Okay.
Okay. This character blends into their surroundings.
Okay.
And because of that, this character is second best.
Jafar?
No,
No. The stick bug from A Bug's Life?
no.
No.
I'll give you one more clue. This
Mm.
character has a mouthful of sharp teeth.
Of sharp teeth. The No, not the Cheshire Cat.
Mm-mm. It's not necessarily a good character. Not a nice character.
I'm stumped.
That's one more. I said they were second best,
Mm-hmm.
but they really want to be the best.
No, I know they want to be the best. Everybody does. I'm stumped.
Okay. Well, I stumped the Soph. The character is Randall Boggs. Monsters Inc. Calculating, mouthful of sharp teeth. He blends into his surroundings. And
How?
second best scarer at Monsters Inc. But second
How?
best wasn't good enough.
How did I miss that? Oh
I
my
don't know.
gosh. Wow.
Thank you. I stumped the Soph. Brenda is not going to believe it.
Oh my gosh.
Grogu knew, didn't you, Grogu?
He's
He's
like,
like,
if
no?
Sophie didn't know, how am I supposed to know?
Well, that's true. Well, I have 3 bits of Did You Know? In earlier drafts, Randall was named both Swit, Switt, and Ned. I can't see him as Ned.
No.
And Swit makes no sense whatsoever. Um, Randall has a nephew named Rex.
Does he? How did you know that?
It says in the Did You Know? I
Interesting.
don't I don't know how I know. Um, Lastly, Randall squints to see because he isn't wearing his glasses. He prefers not to wear them because when he camouflages himself, his glasses are still visible.
Oh yeah, I
So,
knew that part. That was from Monsters University.
yeah. But anyway, that is the Who's character, Monsters Inc. Randall Boggs from Monsters Inc.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, good job, Daddy.
thank you.
Oh my gosh, Aunt Brenda's never gonna let me hear the end of this.
I think it'll be fine. Now, last little bit, we have a little bit of Walt, and I think this is a good quote. And Sophie, do you want me to read it or do you want to read it?
I'd like to read it this time.
Go for it.
In honor of Aunt Brenda and Walt Disney, why do we have to grow up? I know more adults who have the children's approach to life. They are not afraid to be delighted with simple pleasures, and they have a degree of contentment with what life has brought. Sometimes it isn't much either. Walt Disney.
Oh, man, that's
Yeah.
right.
I don't want to
That's
grow
the.
up. I don't
I
want to
know.
grow up.
You're a Toys R Us kids. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
No, not really.
Remember that commercial?
No.
Well, you're maybe a little too young to remember, but I remember it. That was their jingle.
Mhm.
But yeah. And the key word in that whole quote is contentment. That's the key.
Mhm.
Regardless of what we have, be content with what we have and what we've been given. And that's what makes life a little bit easier. So,
Yep.
anyway, that wraps us up for this week. Next week, we're going to be hearing from Brenda. She is actually taking a training cruise on a Royal Caribbean cruise out of the Port of Galveston. And it is exciting because she was invited to partake in this. And we get to hear what she thinks of it. And it's right near where she lives, so it's not much travel for her. So I can't wait to hear all about it. And she's going to share her experience with Royal Caribbean next week. So that's our feature topic.
And I'm going to be so happy that she's back.
So am I. So am I. It's fun when we do it, Sophie, because it's like back when we first started. But Brenda adds an element, Grogu adds an element, Brenda adds an element, and it's like we're not all complete when Brenda's not here.
Mm-hmm. It's
So,
sad.
Love you, Brenda. Can't wait to see you again.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, we hope you all have a great week. If you're at Disney, have a great time at Disney and take lots of pictures and remember those memories you're making. If you're not at Disney, think about your last trip to Disney and remember some of those memories that you made.
Or the trip that's coming up and what you're excited for.
And what you're excited for, exactly.
Yeah.
Until then, I'm Mike. She's Sophie. And he's
Grogu.
And we will
see you
on the road.
Bye,
everyone.